When it comes to knowing things, there's knowing in the tangible sense, and then there's knowing in an interpersonal way too. Say you ask somebody, do you know so and so? They might say, yeah, I know of them, but I don't really know them. Right? It's like you're acknowledging someone's existence, but you might not really know them as a person, right? Knowing Jesus Christ is an interpersonal relationship, but it's also an unseen force. Okay? What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name's Andy. Just making these videos, documenting my journey into getting closer with Jesus Christ. And this one's going to be a little bit more philosophical, so you got to bear with me with this one, all right? I think it's commonly asked, do you believe in the existence of a God? And to that, I will always say yes. But I don't really think it's actually just a matter of belief. I think it's a lot more than that, and I think that belief is actually just that surface level question. So let me explain. Actually, let me ask you a question. Do you believe in the existence of your neighbor? If it's meant in terms of just existing, then you would definitively say yes, right? I mean, you might be able to see, the house across. If you live in an apartment, you might see them walking in and out of the door, you hear them, whatever it is, right? But what if it's something you can't see that's there, but you see the indirect effects of that force, right? So it's like, I think about things like the wind. We can't see wind, okay? But we know the side effects of it because we see that the leaves of the trees are moving. We see that the waves on a surface of water are being created in a certain way, right? And we can deduce that yes, it's air moving in a certain trajectory at a certain speed, and we can, with a certain direction, and we can say that yes, this movement of air is what's causing these other things to move. Okay? I mean, I think it's pretty well understood, right? Let me cook. But similarly with magnetism, right? I'm thinking of like other forces that we can't visibly see. So think of something like magnetism, where operating at a certain electromagnetic frequency that we cannot see with our human eyes, yet we see the effects happening, right? So my question is, like, what if there are forces at play that we currently can't see, but are still working? So it's kind of like, just because we can't see something doesn't mean it doesn't exist, okay? Our human eyes are actually not that powerful in terms of like what we're actually able to see in terms of the possible frequencies on the electromagnetic spectrum. We can't actually see that much, you guys. We can't see wind or magnetism, yet we know that they're working, right? Obviously, the thing is that these kinds of things are much easier to measure because we have man-made instruments that allow us to measure these kinds of things, right? We can deduce that it's these forces that are at play, right? And so with enough data, we can definitively know that these are the reasons why the waves are moving in the way they do. Science. We can back it up with repeatable results, and we have the data to prove it, right? Do you believe in the existence of your neighbor? When it comes to knowing things, there's knowing in the tangible sense, and then there's knowing in an interpersonal way too. Say you ask somebody, do you know so and so? They might say, yeah, I know of them, but I don't really know them. Right? It's like you're acknowledging someone's existence, but you might not really know them as a person, right? Knowing Jesus Christ is an interpersonal relationship, but it's also an unseen force, okay? This is where the science aspect of it kind of falls apart, because it's so difficult to get repeatable results from God, right? We can't just demand things to happen right in front of our eyes, right? So that shouldn't stop us from trying to attempt to understand. And what I'm trying to say is that science is ultimately still a man-made construct. And the thing is, you guys, I come from a science background. I've studied chemistry in college. I was working in biotech for like 4.5 years. I have a pretty decent understanding of the scientific process. I've done tons of labs. When you actually see the theory being played out in machines, and when you're actually dealing with these products and you're dealing with these different substances, I know what it's like, man. I know it sounds ridiculous, but I wouldn't be making a video like this because, like I say in my other videos, I'm living proof, okay? So it's just one of those things, man, you gotta seek him out. You gotta seek him out. So when you ask a follower of Christ, do you believe in God? I think the correct response is not only do they believe him, but they actually know him. So it's not really even a matter of belief. It's not a matter of belief when you know somebody. You see what I'm saying? It's like, do you know your mother? Do you know your father? This is not a matter of existence, right? It's a matter of, do you know them as people? And you can say, yeah. Do you know your best friend? And it doesn't have to be best friend. Even if you have a good friend, you've known each other for a while, you've been vulnerable with one another, you guys are in, reasonable communication, you guys can vibe, you might have common interests. Well, knowing Jesus is not really that far off from what I just said. And it's basically like Jesus is everyone's best friend. And I would say that to the people that don't have Jesus in their life, that might sound insane. That might sound ridiculous, right? It's like, Jesus can't be all of our best friends. Like, what's this guy talking about? Yeah, and I know, I get it, man. Like, I get how crazy that sounds. Even if you told me this 2 years ago, I would still acknowledge what you're saying, but I'm not really sure if I would fully believe you. So if you're in that boat, I completely resonate. I completely relate with you, man. What if I told you that your belief in God is something surface level? That I would say that your belief in a God is not only surface level, but it's actually kind of introductory. That after you made the right moves and the right actions to get closer to Jesus Christ, then you'll actually start to get to know him as a person. And so when someone asks me, oh, Andy, do you believe in God? I say, what do you mean believe? Of course, it's like, I know him. It's much more than a belief when you know. And that's the whole point of the video. And I know this one's a little bit more philosophical, but that's just kind of my take on it. If you guys like the video, leave a comment, throw a like, do the old some bell thing, YouTube stuff, I don't know. Put a video up on the screen, something else for you guys to watch, but that's about it. I mean, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.